Okay, in this episode I'm working on the white TR7. I'm at my parents for a week. The original plan was in the first couple of days to get the engine out of the car and onto a stand, and over the next 3 days to strip it down. Now I only get 2 or 3 hours a day because I work in the mornings till about 2 and cook. We're in Scotland and we're going to try to get the engine out of that car today. So we're going to start by getting that car. So we have a problem. That's as far as we've been able to move the TR7 with the other car. This is where we can get a hoist to, and so somehow we've got to bridge that gap. Right, so we've got it in with a bit of old rope connected in between, and having to do that a couple of times, then a great big push at the end. Once we got the front wheels in, I was able to push it the rest of the way, or we were. So next thing we're going to do, we're going to set the oil draining so that I don't have the mess that I had on the red car. We're going to get the bonnet off and we'll start taking off some of the accessories that aren't needed. So this is what the drain plug came out looking like, which is, well, I mean, clearly we have diesel in there because we were trying diesel and oil, but it's very brown. I don't really know what that means. We're taking the bonnet off. We'll take the bonnet latch off next, and then the carbs, and then I need to check what else needs to come off before it can come out. Okay, so we took the carbs off. It was really just these 6 bolts which we've put back into the head for the time being. It's those 6 bolts because, because actually most of the other stuff we had disconnected the previous time. So that's all good. So we're going to take the head back off now. Hopefully it will still come because I didn't bring my head extractor with me, so hopefully that'll come off again. I'm having second thoughts about the head. Might just leave it on because I know I took the other one out with the head on. So we're taking off the exhaust manifold. I think for ease of space at the front, I'm going to take this pulley off, and we're going to take the alternator off as well. So that should free up this end, and then I'll get under the car and disconnect the prop shaft. So we've removed the pulley. I'm now going to pop inside and detach the gear lever. I thought I'd just get the oil out of the way before I did that. I was moving it from this into this. It started overflowing, so I quickly tried to splash it all back in there, and I got a mess everywhere, including on my shoes and stuff. Just as my dad disappeared in, so he hasn't seen it, so he'll get first sight of this in the video. So I managed to remove this bit from the back here. Look at the difference in the colour of the carpet. This is what was originally there. This is the faded colour. There's the faded colour. There's the original. And I got this all loose that goes around it, but I can't work out how to get this off with the handbrake there and stuff like that. So I'm going to attempt to just do it by removing the screws that I should be able to find in here. Hopefully that will allow me to get those screws in there, 1, 2, soon 4, underneath this gaiter. Oh God, sorry. And hopefully that will enable me to lift this up and disconnect the gear lever from the transmission. Okay, I've got one screw in here which I'm unable to budge, so I just can't get the video on it in here. But there's one, and I haven't got any WD-40 here, so we're going to have to stop for today, get some WD-40 and continue on from there. It's the next day. That's the stick shift and all its associated gubbins out. You can see the hole in there, so that's good. That's just it's a couple of bolts that hold it in, 3 in fact, that hold it in, and make sure you don't lose this spring here that comes out with it. I think I got everything. So the next thing is the propeller shaft, the prop shaft, which we need to disconnect at the transmission end. Okay, so there's the prop shaft bolts out. Now I'm going to take out the starter motor as well, because that just gives me a bit more room, I think. And I've created a bracket to go on there, which I'm hoping will help me balance the engine. So I'm going to take the starter motor out from in there. It's a bit dark so we can't see it, but we're going to take it out from in there next. Okay, so the starter motor, you can see, is out of here. And the reason I wanted to take it out is that I built a, hopefully we'll see if it works, but I built a bracket to go on there for the crane, so that I have more balance when it comes out. So we'll see if that was going to work for us. But before we do that, we're now going to take these 2 bolts off for the left hand side mounting bracket, and then I think we probably do the transmission, but I'll come back after I've done this. I'm having real trouble budging those 2 bolts for the left hand side mounted. I've loosened the one on the right. I just noticed there that I noticed 2 things there in fact. One is I've been looking for that bolt which is stuck on the exhaust pipes in the middle there, and the other thing is that I need to disconnect the exhaust bracket. And the other thing I need to do is the transmission support. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen that just to make sure that all of those are loose whilst this all soaks a bit, and we'll see if we can make progress then. Okay, so here we are under the car. These 4 bolts, 2, 3, no problem, they're loose. But this has really been pranged at some point. It's very bent out of shape, and I can't get anything on the nut in there, or at least I can't get my impact wrench on it. So I haven't managed to loosen that one off yet. Yeah, so let's have a go with a regular old wrench and see where we get to, and have a break. Of course, as everyone else knows, I don't actually need to take this bit off, but came off quite easily with a spanner. But I do need to take the bolts either side off, which was a bit more of a struggle, but they're off as well now. So that's all ready to go. I'm going to need to support this when I take off the engine mounting brackets. And I've got those, I mean I've got to take all of those off still, but I've got 2 that are struggling. And of course I need to make sure so this is on here, and I think it's the exhaust is connected up here and further forwards. I need to remove those as well still. Been in, had a couple of glass of water and stuff, came back out, and I was wondering about where the bolts were, and I was thinking that the other side only has 1 bolt, so why were there 2 here and all of that, and I didn't seem to remember it. And it looks to me like I just need to remove that one in there, and that one is turning, or appears to be. Now whether or not there's the whole thing is turning and there's something else underneath and I still have to get them, I don't know, but that's a little bit more promising. This is taking me longer than it did on the other car, I think, but maybe that's because I had bits off the other car. So I've got this off, down here, I can't remember if I showed you that last night, but these aren't the bits I need to take out, it's the nut that's here. So that's off. So I've got a nut on this side to take off, which I know is loose because I've already done it. I've got 4 nuts underneath for the transmission, which I need to take off. They're all loose, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to lower the front of the car, leaving the back up. We're going to get a jack under to support the transmission. We're going to remove those bolts. We're going to then remove this one over here and connect up the hoist to pull it out. Oh, okay, so we've got it to here so far. This new bracket has helped balance it a bit, but it also in some ways caused a bit of a problem with the steepness in that we weren't quite getting the angle that we needed. But we can see it's out more or less. Now I promise for some reason we can't move our hoist now. It just doesn't seem to want to budge. So maybe I'll lower the car and push the car backwards, and then we'll see what we can do. See this? Cable to the slave cylinder for the clutch. We are trying to remember which bolts went where so that we put them in the right place, or at least have a record of it. So right here we've still got a stud that didn't come out, and that was this. Okay,
Right.
and then when we worked around this way from that, okay, we're working along here. So in here we had a bolt and nut with a tire in it for wires. Then we had just one that goes through. Then we had the one with the earth strap on it, and then we've got the two either side of the slave cylinder, with this one at the bottom being that one at the end being slightly bigger. It's a 14mm as opposed to a 13. Alright, then when we work the other way from this stud here, first of all the dowel from the housing goes here. Then we've got another stud. Now that stud came out, so we have that stud, and that stud has a strap on it for wiring. Okay, so that was there. And we come around and we have 2 bolts that go straight into the housing. Yeah. Then we have down here, so then we got the starter motor bolts. Then here we have 2 thinner, they're shorter, 2 shorter rather, bolts, okay, that go in here, and it's threaded, so they go into something threaded. Then down at the bottom we have 2 very short ones that are threaded, and then we have the 2 fat ones here, which come up here to go onto the housing as well. So we've got all of that sorted, and that all makes sense, but we've also got another bolt and we can't remember where it came from. So I don't know what we'll do. Well, we'll put them all together. We've got a video note of it. And so if we're missing a bolt at some point, we now know where it's from. Right, we've taped them in order. So hopefully when we take it off, we'll have to be careful with this still. But that should keep everything in the same order so we know where they go. Okay, taken off the clutch because I was going to mount the bracket for the engine stand here, and these are M8 bolts, high tensile, going through. But the problem we've got is right here, I can't then get the bracket onto it, so I think I'm going to have to take the flywheel off as well. And in order to take the flywheel off, I need a bolt that fits this, which I have at home, but I didn't bring with me. At least I think I have at home, but I know I didn't bring with me. So, I don't know if my father has one. I'm going to go and check. I doubt it. And so I might be stomped and not be able to complete this this bit until I visit next time. Anyway, I'm going to go see if I can find my dad and see if he can help. Okay, so we've got it on an engine stand. I'm just a tiny little bit concerned because when we look in here, we can see that that one at the bottom's at a slight angle. But the way I got my distance is I put 4 washers on each one, and I did it on each because in theory that should keep it all flat, but it doesn't seem to be quite flat here. So, and I've put washers in between, but actually I don't know if that's the right place for it. Maybe I should have put it on the outside here, because that way you would then have the whole surface mating with it. I'll have a little think about that. I might have to adjust that somehow before I take the crane off. There we go. So we've got the just down below here, taken apart the crane, and it's stored away. We've got the engine on its stand over there. I have a shelf on the other side of the garage just here with a few bits on, but most of the stuff I've decided, so the starter motor, oh I can't remember what, but I've taken a whole bunch of stuff which I'm going to take to the south and I shall clean it up there. So next episode on this particular project will be me just tidying up those bits and preparing them to bring back up. I shall be back up here at my parents' in July, and so in July we're going to go for stripping down the engine, and ideally I would like to strip down and do measurements, but I'm going to have to buy some tools for the measurements, and I can't decide based on progress today this week whether I should just concentrate on stripping down and leave the measurements for the following visit, which would be 2 months later again. Anyway, we're stopping here. I'm pleased that I got it off and on a stand. I'm just disappointed I didn't get it further than this. So, you know, it would have been nice. The plan had been to strip it down as well this week, but there we are.